Okay, gang, welcome back inside my shop. I know it's been quite a while since I've posted anything, but I'm hoping to get back into the game here and kind of been playing around a lot lately with polishing rocks by hand without the use of heavy-duty machines. You know, stuff that costs like $1,600, $2,000, so on and so forth. So this is one of them. This is a Yardnite, and as you can see there, a little bit of polishing up that I did on it. You know, it's just a rock out of the yard, so hence the Yardnite. So there's one of them, and then I've done this amazite. I hope I pronounced that the right way. And it's a pretty nice little stone. I've got a lot to learn on the lapidary portion of it, because I know whatever that is in there, it's just like, I think they call it the host rock, and I just kind of need to get rid of that. And so mostly it's just playing around with it. Here's a chunk of bloodstone that I did, and I actually just dropped this about 3 minutes ago. It's kind of setting it right on fire, don't you know? But that's what it used to look like there. That came out of a bag of rocks that I got from Amazon. But it polished up pretty good. And it's pretty simple, really. And I will show you that in a minute. We're going to do that with this piece of red jasper. And I'm going, for time limit, I'm only going to do the one side for right now. But I think you'll get the picture of what I'm trying to accomplish here. And in future videos we'll get into how we're going to square them off, round them off. As I learn a little bit more on the lapidary side, I can cut out pieces that really don't belong. So let's go ahead and get into it here. I'll fire up my water, and you may see my vise that I've got here, and back on my right side I've got all my sanding blocks, and you can get these off of Amazon as well. I'll start off with a 50 grit, and one of the things that I've learned right off the bat is each time I want to make sure that I clean this up real good. Just kind of brush off all the excess junk. Okay. And one of the other things I'll learn is really important is, for the longest time when I was starting out figuring this out, I was just doing these little circular motions in the middle. I come to find out this really wears out just the center. It seems like it's common sense, and well, it is, but at the time I wasn't thinking about it, so I'm pointing it out to you so you don't make the same mistake and save yourself a few bucks on these pads. They run about $60 for 70 of them, 50 through 3,000, I think. So if I go ahead and start on this, you can hear and you can feel on these rocks as it's scraping across the grit here. It's like in there, it's really super smooth, so that I know it's worn down. But I can feel this here as it's scraping. Once it gets polished almost to that point of being, I guess you'd say, good on this side, you can just feel it sliding. It's much easier. It's not grinding. It's not grabbing. And this is the same for all the grits. So again, use the whole pad, especially when you're starting out. Try not to wear it down in the middle like I did there. So you don't need much time. And out of camera view here, I have my magnifying glass. Well, I'll insert a picture. And I'm kind of taking a look at it and seeing my high and low spots. And there's still a couple low spots in there. Each time I'm doing this, I'm just wiping it off on a rag. Let's see if you can see the the low spots in that. See how it's still shiny in there? Those are the low spots that I want to get out. Let's take a look at that and see what that does. Looks like my upper camo is a little out of whack there, so hopefully we'll be able to get it on one of the other two. I got 3 of them going here. So I got that on the 50 grit. Then we'll go to 100. I could probably jump up to 2 just from my experience so far, but I want to show you that it's actually pretty quick and easy to do this. So far I think we're just a couple minutes into it. I just scrape that off with a nylon brush. Good old Harbor Freight, 99 cents for 10 of them or something. So go back down to my piece again. And again, these are worn out. I do have a brand new set that I'll be breaking into pretty soon. But I want to use these up all that I can. I'm not putting very much pressure on this. I'm just doing it enough just to kind of feel the grind and the slide and listening for the sounds. Okay, so I've got a little bit of, well, I should say I got all the scratches out there. See those little chips in there? We're going to go into detail on that on something else. But for right now, well, let's just see if we can get rid of them real quick here. And pretty close. Good enough for this video, because we're going to go, like I said, we're going to go into more detail on this later on. I'll take this out, bump up to 200. Once you get to know the colors, you can just kind of grab them without even thinking about it or looking at the lettering. They're all numbered on the ends for whatever you need grip wise. So the one thing about doing this, if you notice me flipping it around like that, is I'm trying to figure out which side that I was on. In future videos, I'm going to show you techniques that I use on that, so you kind of know where you're at. This 200 is getting really, really worn down, but it is sufficient enough to get this bloodstone here shined up. Now it looks like a piece of red jasper, which is part of the bloodstone family, I guess. And if I tell you guys think something that's wrong and you know a little bit different, just let me know, because I'm still in the learning process of a lot of this myself. But one thing I do know, this is a hell of a lot faster than using silicone sandpaper, and it'll last a lot longer in the long run, which is less expense as far as continually having to buy sheets of sandpaper. And if you're wondering why I've got this in a vise while I'm thinking about it, you can do it by hand, but this is so much easier to control. When you hold it in your other hand, you're moving it back and forth, you just can't feel the stone as much. And that's the important part here, is feeling. I should say that you can't really feel the stone and the grit together. Now I've polished probably about 30 rocks this way, and I'm really happy with the way that they're turning out. You can already see and get that dried off. You can already see how it's got a little bit of shine to it. At each one of these grits, I'm getting out the previous scratches. That's the important part. This stone is easy to do compared to some of the other ones, but you'll just want to keep looking at it. And again, I'm taking it up to my magnifying glass that I have up top. I see a couple scratches right down in here that I can't see with my old eyes here. We'll just clean those out a little bit. From my point of view, you can see it starting to shine up a little bit. And I just dropped it on the ground. So I'm going from 400 to 800. And you'll notice the difference in the type of sanding pad, grit, whatever you want to call it. On this style here, you'll grab the edges pretty quick on the rock. By about 800, like I said, what this is here, this white one, you'll see a considerable difference in the shine off of this. It's almost, well, it's night and day. I'm hoping that this will come up on the video, because honestly, like I said, it's night and day as far as the 400 to the 800. Next up will be 1500. You can buy different combinations of grit. As far as the 50 grit, if you do a good enough job with your diamond wheels on your Dremel, which I use most of the time. I'm not sure what grit they are. I'll have to find out and let you know. If you do a good job with that, you can actually skip the 50, and I've even skipped the 100 and gone straight to 4. Now there's something in the future here that I'm going to do. Now I can't jam all this stuff into one video, but there's something I'm going to show you in a future video that I'm trying out and experimenting with, what to do with these older pads. So once you get them down and you think you've worn them out, don't throw them away, because you'll want to see this. So far I've tried it with 400 and 1000, and it's working really well. Again, on this, I'm not using very much pressure at all. I'm just feeling the pad. So that was 1500. And you can see she's shining up real good. Alright, let's move on to the last grit. And the last grit for this video is 3000. I actually have a 7500 that I bought from a previous kit. And I think I may end up start looking for maybe like a 10,000, maybe a little higher. Here's one nice thing about this. I'm not using any polish at all. And there's no leftover residual. There's nothing to wear off or melt. You know, if you polish it up with certain polishings, solutions, they're kind of oily maybe. But anyway, this does not have that. This is all natural shine. Now, if you went and bought one of those cabbing machines and you did this, yeah, you could do it a lot faster. You could do all sides a lot faster. But again, they're, you know, anywhere between $1,600 and $2,400. I don't know that I'm ever going to buy one now that I found this. It depends on what I do in the future with this hobby, because right now that's all it is. My wife and I started getting into metaphysical rocks a few months ago, and that's what really kind of got me here. Also, I make titanium rings with inlay. I've been using crushed stone up until this part. Look at that shine, man. And looking at my clock over there, maybe 10 minutes. We'll see what the videos say. But you can get that to a high gloss mirror polish in just a few minutes. Granted, it's just one side, but once you get the technique down and you get the other sides ready to go, that's the most important part, is getting it, you know, post polishing. Get that right, this takes no time at all. Anyway, back on the metaphysical thing, I was making the rings with crushed stone, and I've decided that I want to try and make some 3-piece rings where I'm using solid rock. And so far I've only made one, because I've been spending so much time on getting this set up and ready to go that it's coming down the road here. So this is my slow time during the year with work, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to get more videos pumped out. If you notice, you can probably tell that my last video was last December as well. Anyway, that's pretty simple there, and that's how you use these polishing pads. And I'll put a link in the down in the description. It'll be an Amazon link, because every little bit helps, and I may earn a little bit of money off of it, which is no cost to you if you decide to go to Amazon and buy some of these pads. I could link my setup for all of this in here. There's another future video, and I'm hoping that you'll come back, visit me. If you like this video, if you've got any questions, go ahead and put those down below, and there you have it.